Baby, when I tell you Tisha Scott had time today, she done emptied the clip on Martell and exposed him on everything. Now, I don't steal the entirety of anybody's content. I've had that done to me before, so I don't do that to other people. But I want you to, I collected the important snippets, about 2 minutes of a 2-hour show. So get into this and I'll be back with the rest of my commentary.
He's been showing people stuff on his phone forever. Like the whole revenge porn thing, that did happen. That is a true thing that really happened. And not only have he shown people stuff in his phone of his ex-wife, he's also showed people stuff in his phone with his baby mother. Like, she needs to check on that too. He's shown the boys pictures of her dancing in the closet, shaking after he paid for some type of procedure she had. So he's known for that. But it was a local guy. You know, we fooled around in 2001, my freshman year of college. I didn't know Marcel. It was way before my marriage. We're talking about something that happened 23 years ago. And then for him to say, oh, I saw it, I'm like, really? Because the word around town in Huntsville was that Martell liked boys who was in college. So he didn't see anything. And if he did see something, he was sneaking in the room, or a hidden tape was somewhere because he didn't see anything. But unfortunately, edits didn't show what Marcel said, but they showed what Martell said. So you guys really didn't see or hear everything that Marcel was saying to him, because Marcel was dropping receipts and he was naming guys who Martell have slept with in Huntsville.
Is that okay? We gotta say a legend.
No, it's not a legend. It's not a legend.
I mean, Marcel doesn't want to have a friendship with him ever again.
Hell no. He went too low. Like, you came for me. You was trying to say any and everything to get my husband to, like, fight you, I guess, or get out of character with you. You called my husband all type of names. I was like, I mean, all of my life, I've never seen a dude go this hard on another dude before. So I was telling Marcel, honestly, I said, I think Martell wants you. Like, how hard he goes against you and what he's saying, like, what else do he want? And he kept saying at field day, he kept saying, Tisha, you're going to divorce him, right? Tisha, you're going to leave him, right? You're going to divorce him, right? I'm like, why do you keep saying it?
Yes, indeed. So, not the salacious stuff that she said about Martell. I mean, that wasn't the most impressive thing to me or whatever. That's not what stood out to me. Let's go back and let's talk about what really stood out to me. It's amazing to me that, say whatever you wanted to say about Marceau, but he is the only person to this day that has said it and said with chest, regardless of what his motives were and all of that, because I've seen all of those comments, that Martell was wrong and just wrong for what he did to Melody. But what we now know is they been knew about it. And they knew about it even before Melody did. So why is it that when Martell was arrested, nobody was defending Melody? Now, these are the same people that did the whole state where you stand. To this day, none of the other cast members have stated where they stood. They all said that Melody was ridiculous for putting Martell in jail for harassing communications. And even well, I didn't know all of that. Even after they supposedly, I'm just now finding out that it was because of revenge P. Nah, y'all been new. Y'all been new. Like we all knew. Because we all knew over a year ago, this stuff was all around the internet. And y'all stood there. How do you continue to be friends with somebody who would do this to their ex-wife and the mother of their children? Martell doesn't even have a soul at this point. He is a danger unto himself and to others. But I'm going to tell you what the problem is that I had with this cast. As long as Melody was the one that was bearing the most of the brunt of what Martell had to say, y'all were right along with it. Y'all hate Melody so bad that y'all are willing to go along with something that should be, at the very least, against each and every one of your moral fibers and moral compass. But as long as it's being done to somebody that I don't like, well then goody for her. Goody. That's what she get. Because she thinks she better than everybody. And that's what you all use to justify the way that this man has stalked and harassed his ex-wife and the mother of his children. And for that, shame on you. Melody has never done something this low. as far as Martell has gone, as far as low as he has gone. There is no comparison to Martell's behavior and anybody else's behavior on the cast. He is by far and wide the problem on the show, and he always has been. Martell has a very dark cloud and a very dark spirit around him. And I don't understand why you all didn't do more in calling it out. Everybody was with the whole, yeah, Stormy is right, state where you stand. When did Carlos King state where he stood on Revenge P for one of his cast members? Which brings me to the point of this little short video, and then I'm about to go on to bed. It's crazy to me that when anybody else is throwing shade at another cast member or something like that, if you all have watched Carlos's show, Carlos delights in the mess. Remember Maurice's comment, and this was funny. I got to give it to Reese. He said, Maurice needs sex like Carlos King needs mess. That was funny. I didn't like nothing that he said before or after that, but that was funny when he said that. Carlos loves to get up and walk away, flip all over, act a complete fool anytime anybody throws any shade. Did you see how stone-faced the gay men on the panel were? When go back and watch it in full for yourself. Do you see how stone-faced they were during when Tisha was calling Martell gay or questioning the man's sexuality? And then she did the double down with the, no, this ain't no alleged. Now, the question is this, Martell, if this is an attack on your character, I just recorded the audio for you so you could use that. And they got the full video on the internet. If this is a defamation type of situation, are you going to sue the Scotts? Melody hadn't been a bad mother, but you wanted to take her children away from her. Now, if that wasn't enough for y'all to leave Martell alone, I don't know what would be. Separating a mother who is not unfit, she's not on drugs, and then also, Martell, you was homeless or homeless adjacent, and you wanted to take that woman's children from her just to be vindictive and to try to come up on some child support and alimony. How dare you? And y'all still had the cast. Well, he's still a good guy. Martell has no redeemable qualities. He's been evil. But my point in all of this, to wrap this up, is if you go back and you watch it in full, you'll see how Carlos wanted to cut the conversation and steer the conversation. Point being, Carlos knows very well how to protect whomever he wants to protect. And when you all were having speculations as to why Carlos wanted to protect Martell and all of that other stuff, I was one of them people that's like, now, I don't like Martell, but this little storyline and this narrative about attraction between Carlos and Martell, like, y'all are going too far with that. Like, that's nasty. It's below the belt, is whatever. There is no evidence that Martell has ever been into men, but there is plenty of evidence of him being a man whore. So I was one of the people that wasn't with that. But I will be curious to see what Martell has to come out with and what he has to say about these allegations. It's crazy to me how when it was anything about a woman being drug addicted or doing something strange for some change or cheating on her husband, all of these terrible narratives that they've had about these married mothers on this show, they wanted to play that in full. But you just heard Tisha say, when it came time to talk about Martell and allegations against him, oh, y'all clipped and cropped that right on out. Isn't that something? So you do know when something that's being said or done is below the belt, is inappropriate. There is a line, then isn't it? Now, Carlos, I'm going to say this. I find him entertaining. I like that he has, a black media company and he's doing his thing and so forth and so on. But buddy, and this is somebody who is a content creator, not nearly on the level that you are. Your slip is hanging, Carlos. Now, buddy, I'm going to just go ahead and say this. It's been too many people saying the same thing about you. And I feel like you are a man who at least has a relationship with God and that you are well raised. Carlos, You should do the right thing and you should address some of these accusations that have been out about you coming fully and only from black women. Y'all got so much to say about Kandi Burruss, but it sure seemed like she's really being vindicated now. Where's the lie? And I caught the shade that he threw at So Gucci, and probably at Kandi too. But if you all didn't catch it, let me play that little clip for you.
You know, if I have a problem with, I'll text you, Carlos, and let you know. So
I know. I love when my girls call me personally and tell me their issue versus doing it other ways. Anyway, so I want to get into.
So you still haven't put that video up of the last week's live with So Gucci because you got mad because she told you about yourself. And then, of course, we had Kandi set it off. You had some bad business dealings with Todd too. Carlos, you had recently, Akeisha from Bell Collective had some words to say about how your production company chose to, display her, even I think like even in the opening credits. You've had Mel say things about the way that you go about business. A lot of people has said this, buddy. And what I'm trying to say is, just from the standpoint of being a businessman, Carlos, if I were you, I would make amends. I would give the people who have grievances against you, just like you said, I want to give people a chance to tell their side or whatever, just like you've done a mini of an extra special or whatever, like that, what you've done with Huntsville and what you did for Bell Collective. You might need to have a sit down special yourself with all of these women who have an ought against their brother, okay? And you might need to get that log out of your eye. Not a splinter, baby. You might need to get that log out of your eye because this accusation is just happening a bit too frequently. And this is just me just giving some advice just on the strength of black business, black positivity, and not wanting to let your network and what you're doing or your production company go the way of like Zeus Network and all of that type stuff. But if you keep with the narratives that you're pushing, Carlos, it's going to end up being like that. And I honestly think, regardless of what anybody else's opinion is, you're better than that, Carlos. It's time that you did more to protect black women. But I have a question for black women who don't even protect each other. If someone actually did build a platform where black women exclusively had their own social media network, would you join? Tell me in the comments. Until then, like, share, and subscribe. I've already built it. The question is, will you come?